reporters had requested she attend. The crime's location wasn't her normal patch, although she conceded if the formidable legendary Detective Inspector Jack Dillon doubted his ability to get there, God only knows what made them think she could. Harrowfield was his domain, and he was closer than she was to the cadaver. She weighed up the HQ controller's thought pattern. Maybe, given the conditions, it was likely wise having 2 officers attempting to get to the scene to determine if it was foul play or not. Born and bred on the Marsden Moors, she was aware more than most that the 4 seasons brought dramatic changes to the land across which she travelled. But thanks to her folk, whose ancestors were all farmers, she knew the moors like the back of her hand. Today the going was slow. The patchy low cloud made sure of that. In fact, so dense was the fog that at times Charlie felt as if she was in a spaceship on its way to an unknown universe. The prevailing fog meant that the journey offered up surprising corners and sweeping curves. But when the veil was lifted, Charlie relaxed a little, as she could see long stretches of road way ahead of her. She turned up the radio and hummed along to the music. When she knew the words, she sang, and when she didn't, she made them up. Suddenly, blue flashing lights on the receding horizon in her rearview mirror grabbed her attention. Charlie put her foot slowly on her brake and steered the car as far into the side of the road as she dared, without fear of getting stuck in a snowdrift. She let the fire engine pass. Radio now off, she looked at her watch. Becoming increasingly warm, she turned down the heater. The windscreen began to mist over just slightly, but it was enough to make her wind down her window only to be confronted with a confusion of cawing. She looked up. A murder of crows circled their roost in a well-protected copse of trees, which hugged the rocky base of Millstone Edge. "It's an omen," she could hear Granny's caution. She remembered how her younger self, puzzled by her granny's discomfort, had questioned the remark. Charlie was an inquisitive child. "It's the harbinger that guides souls from the realm of living into the afterlife, lass." "What a load of old codswallop!" Charlie could hear her mother Ada retort, quite clearly. Turning to Charlie, Ada's voice had softened to a whisper in her ear. "Your granny is ruled by the moon. Another day she'll tell you a crow is a sign of a spiritual blessing. Whatever suits. Isn't that right, Mother?" Charlie's mother had no time for the old lady's fables, but Charlie loved spending time with her granny. Unkindly regarded as loopy by some, Granny was hugely entertaining. Never short of telling a good story, Granny had been the youngster's favourite playmate. When the fire crew had passed, Charlie nudged the accelerator with her foot, and very slowly the car crept forward on the packed ice. Looking ahead at the darkening sky, she found herself transfixed by the number of large birds diving, lunging and cawing in singles and in pairs as they flew around above her vehicle in a circle before they began to break apart. The car then plunged into another wall of dense fog, and the birds were lost to her. Concentrating hard in order to see ahead, Charlie carefully navigated her way around a hairpin bend, and then another, until all of a sudden the fog snapped away again, and she was upon Eastergate, as if the car had found its way all by itself. Below her, the hill peaks reared up into the low clouds, and in front she saw the shadow of an impressive detached period property smouldering in the distance. Crownest. Locally, the house was of huge interest, rumoured as it was to be haunted with its extensive grounds used by witches in days gone by for dark satanic rituals. Or at least, that's what Granny said. What couldn't be mistaken was the hive of activity that now surrounded the property, just as Charlie envisaged after hearing the earlier radio announcement concerning the fire. At that moment her phone rang. It made her jump, such was her focus on the house. She steered the car off the road and into the gateway to Crownest, the only place that was free from snow. Detective Constable Annie Glover didn't give her boss time to speak. "Have you been stood down?" "No, why?" Charlie was slightly confused. "I've just been reading the chief's log. Dillon's just pronounced the body as not suspicious."